Hi there, FangFang. My name is Ellen, and I'm very happy to see that you have sent us your first set of essays. This is wonderful. It's nice to see you working really hard for your IELTS preparation. So let's take a look and see what you said here, shall we? Okay, the topic is schools need to be more entertaining. Let's see what you said about this. Okay. There are two contradictory arguments about the function of a school. Should the school be more entertaining, or should the school be more educational? I think this needs a question mark here. I believe that school is a place to equip students with knowledge, and at the same time it should have fun too. This essay will discuss both views and use examples from the Youth Education Center USA to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, so far great. Let's move on. Firstly, some people consider that school, consider is the wrong word here. It should be believe, okay, or support, or claim, one of these words, but not consider, because consider needs to be followed by a different structure. So, some people support that school should be more entertaining. This is because it can make going to school become, get rid of the S, a more enjoyable thing to do. For example, according to a study by the IELTS USA, okay, get rid of the, okay? Because you have this according to. Now, if you wanted the, you could have just said, a study by this, okay, indicates that the happy memories. So, do you understand? Using according to changes the rest of your structure. So, according to a study by the IELTS USA, comma, the happy memories of a school event or school learning will promote class engagement and a sense of belonging up to 30%. Therefore, it is clear that if there are more entertaining activities in the learning process, more students will be more willing to attend school and will be willing to get involved in the whole school process. Okay? All right, let's move on. Secondly, as some people argue, this should be, I think it should be present tense, just because everything else was in the present tense. You said some people believe, some people consider, so this should be present tense too. Keep it consistent. School is a place to learn knowledge. This is because parents pay to the school community, to teach or cultivate children with acknowledged knowledge, soft skills, and good habits that parents cannot be capable of doing at home. All right, this sentence has a number of problems, so let's look at it a little more closely. I didn't understand what this means. What do you mean paid to the school community? So that was unclear as an expression. What exactly does that mean? And then, anyway, they pay something to teach or cultivate the children. And I didn't understand this at all. What does that mean, acknowledged knowledge? It's not a collocation, so you have to be careful with this type of vocabulary, okay? And then, the soft skills was good, good habits was fine. And then that parents are not capable of teaching at home. That's one way you could have fixed this, okay? Or that parents cannot teach at home. So either way, there are a couple of different alternatives for how you could have said this, but what you wrote here needs a little work, okay? So let's move on. Let's see. All right, for example, a study by IELTS USA compared two groups of students. What happened here with your grammar? Let's see again. I don't know something happened wrong again with this. Let me look at it one more time, okay? For example, a study by IELTS USA compared with two groups of students, which has followed different, okay, I know what it is. So let's try it one more time, but this time we're going to correct it. For example, a study by IELTS USA of two groups of students which followed different schooling systems found out that the students who are homeschooled have 17% lower level, I don't know what you want to say here, have 17% lower interpersonal skills than students from public school. Therefore, School is a major place to learn life skills and a wide range of knowledge. All right, so this paragraph, FangFang, obviously had a number of grammatical problems that, you can see I struggled a little bit with some of it, but it's more than that. This also felt to me really rather off topic. We're not trying to compare homeschooling versus, in-person schooling with other children. So, I mean, it's just about entertaining or strict knowledge. All right, and then here you really got off topic. Okay, so I didn't understand this. This paragraph was really off topic, and that would definitely affect your task achievement score. Okay, remember, it's okay to talk about knowledge, but you're supposed to talk about how the acquisition of knowledge is important compared to these schools where entertainment is happening. Okay, that's what you should be focusing on here, not school versus homeschool. Okay, so this was really off topic. Okay, in my opinion, although life is not constrained by learning theoretical knowledge at school, study should have fun while learning. I don't know what study should have fun. That's a little awkward. This whole expression is awkward. Okay. How about study should have elements of fun? Full stop. However, the pleasurable projects for children should be set. No. The pleasurable projects for children should have set limits, because too frequently pleasurable activities held at school would disturb children's study timetable and make those this is wrong, and make more theoretical learning even more tedious. All right, now, to conclude from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that having fun while studying is a better methodology that can be widely accepted at school. All right, now, I don't really know why you decided to put your opinion in its own paragraph. So, basically, as you've probably figured out from being on the course now, we typically recommend a 4-paragraph structure. So, an introduction, a conclusion, and then 2 body paragraphs where you discuss the main issues of the task. Now, in the second body paragraph, typically, this is where we put our position, our belief. So the thing that we support more usually comes down here towards the bottom of the paragraph, towards the bottom of the essay, as you appropriately did here with your opinion. But I don't really agree with having your opinion in its own paragraph. It should be kind of incorporated to the paragraph, into the paragraph that deals with your position. In this case, this one. All right, so then some of this you could have said in your conclusion. Now, another thing is, looking at this, you said that you're going to discuss both views. But that's not enough. Look at the task again. It very clearly says you have to answer which one you agree with. All right, and the answer to that question is your position. And if you look at the band descriptors, it tells us that your position should be clear throughout the essay. Throughout means from the beginning to the end. So the beginning is obviously your introduction. So the takeaway here is that you need to include your answer to this question, your position, in your introduction. You need to restate it in your conclusion, okay? And then rather than having a paragraph with your opinion, you should incorporate it into another paragraph, okay? So I would have gotten rid of this. I would have incorporated some of it into this paragraph, but of course changed the order, and then some of it into your conclusion, all right? So for me, that's let me tell you what the big deals are here. The fact that you didn't include your position here, that this was rather strange here. I didn't like a paragraph just for your opinion, and then the order of your paragraphing felt a little strange to me. And another problem with this here is that, well, then you end up kind of repeating some of this in your conclusion. So you could see that this kind of structure isn't really 100% working. All right, we spent a ton of time on this essay. Let's go to your second one now about developing skills and creativity. Let's see what you said. because more and more people take education into account, there are some people who argue, is what you're missing here, who argue that comparing with learning through doing activities, reading is a less efficient way of learning in terms of fostering children with creative thinking and socializing skills. All right, a couple of problems here. Other than what I just mentioned, we never start sentences with because. We're just not supposed to. It's a rule, all right? You don't start sentences with and, but, or because. Find another way to say it, all right? So that's the first thing. Then you had this issue here, and then there was another thing, comparing with, this whole thing felt kind of awkward. I want to change it, but not only that, I also want to shorten it, because this sentence is like 3 lines long, and when you get into sentences that are so long, they tend to become kind of awkward. They tend to have mistakes, very much as this one did, so we have to change it a little, all right? So let's try that again. As more and more people are taking education into account, I don't really care for this expression either. What does that mean, to take education into account? You mean that they're prioritizing education more and more? That they are really focusing on education for some reason? So that needs to be kind of explicit here. So why don't we try that too? As more and more people are prioritizing education in the lives of their children, there are some, you don't need to say people again, you just said it here. There are some who argue that reading is a less efficient way of learning compared to doing activities. All right, that's one way you could do it. Or you could change it in a lot of ways. But the point is that you really need to split these ideas up into 2 sentences. All right, so let's move on. I believe that learning through doing activities is a better way for children's development. This essay will discuss both views and use examples from not form, Harvard University without the and Oxford University demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay, that's fine. Firstly, joy provides better skills and more creativity. This is because when people participate more during an activity, their brain can be highly focused. And their brain, or just they are focused? So, I mean, do you understand what I mean? Like, just the brain is focused? No, the children concentrate more, or the children are more focused. So, this is because when children participate more during an activity, they can be more focused and absorb more information from their surroundings. Research by Oxford University has found that children are 13% more creative and active in learning when happy. Therefore, learning from joyful activities is recommended. Okay, I think that what we're missing here is a little information. I think we needed like an example of what a joyful activity is. Okay, what kinds of activities? Maybe reading is a joyful activity for some people. Okay, so I think you needed to maybe go into a little detail. This definitely felt to me a little underdeveloped, like I was missing pieces of the puzzle. Okay, let's see. All right, anyway, let's move on. Secondly, compared to reading, doing an activity is usually a teamwork, which involved many children to cooperate and finish one project. That sentence has some errors that we have to fix. Let's fix it. So secondly, compared to reading, doing an activity usually involves teamwork, which requires children to cooperate and finish a project. That is why children can develop people skills such as communication skills, plural, collaboration skills, and critical thinking through this process. A Harvard University study showed that group projects are one of the most efficient ways of learning. Compared with individual learning, it can improve the efficiency, not the efficiency, but improve efficiency by 14%. Therefore, studying during projects or activities also equips children with people skills. All right, fine. Let's move on. To conclude, from the examples and arguments given, I firmly believe that learning through participating in activities is a better learning methodology than just reading books. in the future, if learning through activities can be adopted by more organizations or parents, children will have more options to get involved in the learning process. All right, so let's for a moment just ignore the grammar. You saw that I had to correct quite a few things. I would say pretty consistently. Okay, so there were consistent errors. They didn't impede communication, so that's a good thing. All right, I didn't feel like I didn't understand what you said. I certainly did, but I did have to kind of work through some of the mistakes, okay, as you saw. Now, I want to talk to you about two important things that both have to do with task achievement. Look at this again. Can develop better skills and more creativity. You spoke about skills, and in fact, let's see, what skills did you talk about? All right, you used the word creativity here, but you only used it once, and that's it. So I don't know how this joy produces better creativity. I don't know how it really helps with creativity, or what kinds of skills. So just the fact that you use the word creativity once in this essay doesn't mean that you talked about creativity. Okay, so that to me is like you didn't cover all parts of the essay. All right, if you look at the band descriptors, you can see what that means, that you must cover all parts of the essay. I don't feel like you did, and one mention of the word creativity does not mean that you covered it. Okay, so that's one thing. You can see here that creativity is important because they said better skills and more creativity. All right, they didn't just lump creativity together with better skills, but they actually separated it, which means that it's very important to talk about it on its own separately. All right, so that didn't happen, and so that's a real problem with your task achievement. Now I want to talk about another problem. Look what you said here. You said this essay will discuss both views and use examples from blah blah blah. All right, so both views means reading as an activity and this enjoyable activity as an activity. You didn't talk about reading. You talked about joy and joyful activities, how great they are. And then here, again, you talked about teamwork and you talked about doing activities. You didn't tell us what activities they were, but you also didn't do what you said you were going to do. You didn't really compare it to reading. You just said once, compared with reading. But that's not talking to us about both views. All right, which is what you said you were going to do, that you were going to discuss both views. So, in other words, the development of this essay doesn't really follow what you said it was going to say in your introduction. Okay? Let's see. All right, so for your first set of essays, there are a lot of good elements here. Okay? You've been using the template, at least in this essay. I saw that you use the template rather well, so I'm very happy about that. But there is definitely work that you need to do. So let's talk about what your next step should be. Your first step should be to correct these essays based on the suggestions in this video. Okay? And then you need to send those back to us. With the corrected essays, I also want you to send us your error correction list. That's a list where you write down all the mistakes that were pointed out to you, and next to each mistake, you'll write the correct version, okay? That's a list that you will add to with each essay you get back from us. Then the third thing you need to do, of course, is send us a new set of essays. Try to use all the information you've been getting from the course through your essay corrections and apply it all in your writing, okay? So I'll wait to hear from you. Hopefully in the next day or so we'll get another essay, so I'll be looking forward to it, okay? Good luck and good job.